Hey everyone, welcome back to Coded Row. In this video, we're going to be going over working with lighting in C++ in Unreal Engine. So what we're going to do is open up our C++ project, and I'll just go over here to Tools, New C++ Class, and select Actor. And I'll hit Next, and I'll call this something like My Light Actor, and hit Create Class to open up our Visual Studios. And after it's loaded into your Visual Studio, your C++ class folder is showing. If not, you can just go to Settings and enable Show C++ Classes. And the My Light Actor will be placed right in here. And now you'll see that it's created a mylightactor.header file or .h and a mylightactor.cpp for C++. So in the mylightactor.header file, we're going to add the following components. So under our public, right after our override, we're just going to click enter a couple times and one backspace, and I'm going to add private. And then I want to add another U property, and we're going to make this visible anywhere. And let's create the class a U spotlight component. And I'll put an asterisk next to it and then have this called spotlight. And then I'll do that again. So U property, and this time it'll be for a U point light component. And we'll also make this visible anywhere. Class will be U point light component with an asterisk, and we'll just call this point light. And now I'll hit save. And now let's implement the constructor in the mylightactor.c++. Under this line, we're just going to add a couple spaces, and I will comment this out and type in initialize spotlight. And you don't have to follow, but this is just to tell you guys what this will do. So let's initialize it by doing spotlight is equal to create default sub object, and I'm going to call in that U spotlight component, and let's do text spotlight. And I'll put that semicolon at the end. And then I also want to do spotlight, set up attachment, root component. And now you'll see that it gives you this pointer or reference to incomplete type. Use spotlight component is not allowed. And that's because we just did not include it up here. So in order to include that, we'll include the following. So let's include using the hashtag include components slash spotlight component.h. And we can do the same for the point light component. So I'll just change the spot to point. And now let's initialize the point light in the same way. So I'm just going to copy paste these down here and just change spotlight to point light. And just like that. And we also want to initialize the root component if we want to attach other actor components to it. So let's go ahead and set that up as well. So above my spotlight, I've created this root component is equal to create default subobject, and then the uScene component of text root component. As it states that we have this uScene component, we also want to include that. So I'll do hashtag include component slash scene component.h. Just like that. Now I'll hit compile, and I want to make sure that I build my project. So I'll right click my Intro to C++. I'll do clean, and then after it's done cleaning, I'll rebuild. So now in our C++ file, let's create some default lighting. So under my spotlight, I'm just going to do spotlight, and I'm going to set intensity to, let's say, 3000.0f for float. And in this case, for the spotlight, I'm going to set light color to an F linear color, : red. And I'll do the same for the point light, and you can really change this to whatever you'd like. So I'll do point light, set intensity, 3000.0f. And for this point light, I will set the light color to something like green. So I'll do F linear color, green. And don't forget your semicolons at the end. And now we can compile and test this out. And now after we finish compiling, I'll go back to my Unreal Engine project. And now I'll just drag this My Light Actor into the world. And when I move it up, you'll see this green light. And I don't really see the red light. I think I see it a tiny bit when I'm super close. And I just need to change it so the intensity is a bit higher. So when I go back to my Visual Studios, I'll do something like 30,000 for the red and 300 for the green. And then I'll hit this button over here to recompile. Now back in my project, I'm just going to re-add this to my map, and I'll point this down. And now I can see this red spotlight coming up right in the center of my green. Oh, and I forgot to save before compiling, so I'm just going to save and then hit this button to recompile. And since we're only changing the values, it's going to be able to just, we don't have to restart the project or anything. And now when I drag this in, you'll see that red showing up like so, and a tiny bit of green that's showing on these edges. And that works perfectly fine. But now let's expose it to Blueprint so that we can make a child of it and change the values if we wanted to. So I want to open up my Visual Studio Code, go to the mylightactor.header file, and in the public up here under this virtual void tick, I'm just going to click space and let's add a comment that says function to set spotlight in intensity. And I'll do something like avoid set spotlight intensity float new intensity. And then I want to add a function to set point light color. And I'll do void set point light color f linear color, and the variable will be new color. And I'll hit save. And now back in my lightactor.cpp, at the bottom, I'm just going to add so this will be the function to set spotlight intensity. And I'll have another one down here to set the point light color. My light actor set spotlight intensity of that float we created called new intensity. And then open curly brackets if spotlight, then inside the spotlight. So if anything's set for our spotlight variable, then spotlight will be that intensity. So we're going to do the set intensity of the variable that we created called new intensity. And now the same thing for the function of the void mylightactor to set point light color. Open curly brackets. And if point light, then we'll do the point light will be set light color of the new color. And I'll hit save. And now I just want to recompile my project. So now once that's done compiling, I'll go back to my C++ classes, right click on mylightactor, and create a blueprint class based on mylightactor. And I'll just leave that in the content browser, create this actor, and it's going to open up this blueprint class called mylightactor because I didn't change the name. And now you can see that we can change the intensity and the light color for both our spotlight that we created in C++ and our point light. So I'll change this to something like blue or purple-ish of 50,000. And then for the point light, I'll do 20,000 of yellow and increase the attenuation to 5,000. Now I'll compile and save and just drag this into my blueprint, and I'll point this downwards. And now you'll see this purple in the middle-ish and yellow on the outside. And now you've created a custom light actor in Unreal Engine 5 using C++ and added dynamic control over the light properties. And this tutorial provides a foundational understanding that you can further extend the functionality based on your project's requirements. Thanks for watching Code as Row. Like, subscribe, comment below what you want to see next, and I'll see you in the next video.